This is the Jocko Underground Podcast, number 83, with Echo Charles sitting across from me. So here's, I'm not a huge quote guy, but occasionally got to throw them out there. Here's one. Perseverance alone does not assure success. No amount of stalking will lead to game in a field that has none. That's a quote from the I Ching, which is the ancient Chinese text. Kind of has some mysterious origins, but believed to have been compiled by a group of sages. I like when you can use the term sage in a legitimate way. Not calling some person on Instagram a sage, but to say an ancient sage.
Yeah, the real one.
A group of sages who were trying to understand, the nature of life and the nature of the universe and whatnot. So, and perhaps on the Jocko podcast at some point we'll cover the entire text of the I Ching. But the reason that this reading this, I decided, hey, this might be something worth bringing up. This quote of perseverance alone does not assure success. No amount of stalking will lead to game in a field that has none, is because, interestingly, right now, in this world of hustle culture, in this world of, did you make up the term toxic productivity?
No, I thought it was your daughter.
Oh, okay. Okay, maybe my daughter made it up. But you can see how if you're a toxic productivity human, or you're all on board for the hustle culture, which, let's face it, hey, hustle, I'm down, right? Hustle culture, yeah, let's go. Let's get stuff done. Let's make things happen. But this is an important thing to remember. It's in line with that conversation which we've talked about. We talked about on the game podcasts. Which game are you playing? You're playing soccer or playing basketball? In soccer, you can only score a point, maybe 2 points. In basketball, you can score 30. So what game are you playing? And in this one, what made me think that this was even more relevant, because I started thinking of being in a field, stalking for game, right? Stalking for an animal to hunt. Well, when you're stalking, you're crawling, you're low crawling, you're sneaking. You can't see very much at all. You certainly can't see the whole field that you're stalking in order to tell whether there's any game in there or not. Look, you might be following a trail, but you don't know how long that trail goes for. You don't know how far it goes. You have no idea. So what happens with us is it's very easy for us to get caught up in the stalk. It's very easy for us to get caught up in the hunt. And it's exciting, right? It's engaging. On the trail, you're stalking. It's good. Victory's around, as far as you can tell. Victory might be around the next bush. That could be happening. But if you're not careful, you just might be hunting in a field that has no animals in it. There's no game in there. So you have to detach. And I realize that I use the term detach all the time. And it's real easy for me to throw it out there because I know what I'm talking about. So what I mean here is actually stopping working for an hour on a Saturday or for an hour on a Sunday. Stop your hustle culture. Stop your toxic productivity. Actually stop that and write down what you're doing, where you're going, and how you plan to get there. That's all it takes, right? Actually write down, where am I right now? Where am I right now? Wait, where is it that I want to go? And then how do I plan to get there? That's what this is. If you write things down, it helps you detach from them. And then you can look and you can say, wait a second, I know where I want to be. And this job that I'm in isn't getting me there. This path that I'm on isn't going to get me there. This methodology that I'm using is not going to get me there. So once you write this down, once you detach from it, once you assess what is actually happening, then you can either get back to hunting in the field because you're in the right field, in the correct field, or you can go and move to a different field where there is some game that you can hunt. That's it. That's what I got for today. That's my underground output for today. Watch out for it.
Yeah, the hustle culture, and I'm still trying to get a grasp on it. Where, if I'm not mistaken, tell me what you think. Where you hustle, okay, you have all these sort of leaders in the community, right, who hustle and they're successful. So it's kind of like, and they really advocate for the hustle. So and then you have certain followers who embrace the idea of hustle, but meanwhile they're not getting success. But it doesn't matter because the culture is the hustle itself. So it's kind of like, and then of course social media and the internet in general sort of can proliferate just the attitude because of the payoff, because of the additional payoff. Meaning, if I can hustle, if I can, power through 100 emails today, sent out, 100 more, made 12 cold calls, I don't know, whatever we're doing. And if I did all that, regardless of the results, regardless of the mistakes I made or didn't make, regardless of the result, if I did all that, that gets kind of commended. Like, hell yeah, hustle on, brother. They get the support. So they get a big payoff, big one. What do you call it? Admiration or respect from your peers is one of the best payoffs.
Yeah, you're talking exactly why I bring this up, and you're bringing it to a point where people will understand. I think I didn't do a good job. I didn't do this justice. Here's what you got to watch out for. Look, everyone says these days, you got to enjoy the process, right? Yeah. You got to enjoy the process. You focus on the process, and there's a reason that people say that, and it makes sense. Here's the thing. If you're focusing on the process, but there are no results coming, you're making a mistake. When people say, hey, just enjoy the process, what they say is you can't go out and try and sell your widget for one day and be like, we didn't get any sales, or even a week and be like, we didn't get any sales. Oh, I enjoy the process, so I'm going to go out and bang on more doors tomorrow. Yeah, good job. But at a certain point, you've got to assess and say, wait a second, I haven't sold any widgets in a month and a half. I keep getting told no. Hey, I might need to ask 100 people to get 2 yeses, but if I asked 500 people and I've got no yeses, now you need to start to assess not just the process, but what is the actual widget that you're selling? What is the actual game that you're in? This is where it can be a problem. You're a workout guy. I'm a workout guy. If you have someone that's following a program, like, I'm going to do whatever they're going to do. Hey, from now on, we're going to do high repetition workouts. Okay, cool. So you start doing that. You're not going to see results tomorrow. You're not going to see results in a week. But if you're doing super lightweight and very extreme high repetitions and you're trying to get bigger and stronger, you might be gaining endurance, but you certainly might not be getting bigger, and you certainly might not be getting stronger. So if you just embrace the process and you keep on the grind and you keep doing these massive high repetition exercises, but you're not getting the results that you want, eventually you need to say, my approach is wrong. I need a new strategy.
There was this guy, Sal DiStefano, he's a trainer. He said something that I totally agree with, where he's like, the man who enjoys walking will walk farther than the man trying to get to where he's walking to.
True.
It was something along those lines. And I was like, yeah, that's true. And given what you're saying, it's like, man, a big picture look at it, it's like, it's kind of a, one might say, dichotomy, right?
Yes.
Where it's like a man who really loves walking and wants to get somewhere, he really has to want to get to that place as well. Because if a man just loves walking, he might as well just walk on the treadmill. And then that's the same as these hustle culture guys who are just hustling for the sake of hustling. They're just on a treadmill. They're not going nowhere.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yep.
So yeah, that second part of it, I think, is important. Especially you bring to light, make it a lot more clear. And you used to say this, and actually you still say it, where you're like, "What are you doing right now?"
What are you doing right now?
You're like, frick, bruh, if you can ask yourself that question once a day. Like, what are you doing right now?
Yeah.
And bruh, it kind of helps, because even just that simple question, which actually seems kind of ambiguous on the surface, bro, that is a deep question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that'll help.
He used to say to those young SEAL officers, there'd be like mayhem going on. I'd be like, what are you doing right now? Yeah. And you could see they didn't know what they were doing. Yeah. Or whatever they were doing wasn't making any sense. And they, as soon as they asked themselves, wait. That is a little excerpt of what we are doing on the Jocko Underground podcast. So if you want to continue to listen, go to jockounderground.com and subscribe. And we're doing this to mitigate our reliance on external platforms so we are not subject to their control. And we're doing it so we can give you more control, more interaction, more direct connections, better communications with us, strengthen this legion of troopers that are in the game with us. So thank you. It's jockounderground.com. It costs $8.18 a month. And if you can't afford to support us, we can still support you. Just email assistance@jockounderground.com and we'll get you taken care of. Until then, we will see you mobilized underground.